I never planned to ruin my sister's wedding. But then again, I never planned for her to marry the man who ruined my life. My name's Maya, and this is what happens when your sister marries your rapist. I was 17 the first time my sister invited me anywhere that wasn't a pity errand. It's just a chill thing, Lena said, gloss already shining on her smile. College party. You can meet people who don't worship lanyards and curfews. Our parents lit up like she'd offered community service. Go have fun, Mom said, the kind of bright that feels rehearsed. Lena squeezed my shoulder like I'd been granted a wish. Her campus apartment smelled like citrus cleaner and stale beer. Lights were low, music expensive sounding. Lena floated from guest to guest, sparkly and easy. I stuck to the wall and tried not to breathe too loud. That's when I met Ethan. He was taller than I expected and softer around the edges than the boys at my school. The kind of handsome that sneaks up on you because he's good at listening. He laughed at my dumb joke about Lena's no shoes on the rug policy and leaned in like I'd said something brilliant. You must be the famous little sister, he said. Famous? I blushed like I was 12. Lena appeared, cheek to his shoulder. She's shy. We're fixing that. She pressed a red cup into my hand. Loosen up, Maya. One drink won't kill you. The cup tasted like a melted candy cane and lighter fluid. I took a cautious sip, then another, when Ethan clinked his cup against mine like we were teammates in something I didn't understand. He asked about my classes, my art, the teacher who kept forgetting my name. Every time I answered, he looked impressed, like I was a trick I'd just taught myself. The room softened. Voices braided together into one long, warm sound. Light smeared. I watched Ethan bend to Lena's ear, his mouth moved. Her eyes cut to me, and she nodded. I don't remember much after that, not in a way that feels like a memory. More like a handful of photographs thrown in a sink and left to warp. Hallway. Laughter. My name said like a secret. The smell of cologne and someone's detergent. My feet trying to find the ground. When I woke, the ceiling had popcorn bumps that looked like tiny countries. My mouth was a desert. The blanket was wrong, too heavy, unfamiliar. Heavy. Ethan breathed beside me. For a second, my brain refused to translate the scene. I was a person-shaped static. Then everything snapped into place with a sound only I could hear. I grabbed the sheet and clutched it to my chest like it could rewind time. On the carpet, half kicked under a chair, was my sister's jacket. The navy one with the missing button, a smudge of glittery lip gloss on the collar. I listened for the thud of my heartbeat and wondered why it sounded like someone knocking from inside a closet. I got dressed with hands that didn't belong to me. I left without looking back, without looking at him. The hallway felt a mile long. The living room smelled like spilled sugar. Somebody cheered in the kitchen. Someone else cried, giggled into a phone. Outside, it had started to rain the way it always does when you don't have an umbrella. At home, I went straight to the bathroom and scrubbed until my skin hurt. Lena came in an hour later, humming, like she'd just aced an exam. I stood in the doorway, wet hair slapping my neck, and said, "What did you do?" She didn't flinch. She didn't ask, "What's wrong?" She rolled her eyes like I was late to a joke. "You wanted him," she said, voice flat as a plate. "Don't act like you didn't." People say the body forgets. It doesn't. It just hides things in places you can't reach until you bump them later and wonder why you're bleeding. The morning after, Mom was already at the kitchen table when I came down. Lena sat across from her, calm as Sunday. I thought she'd be hungover. She wasn't. She looked rehearsed. She got drunk, Lena said before I opened my mouth. Embarrassed herself. I had to carry her upstairs. Mom's coffee cup froze halfway to her lips. Her eyes flicked to me, waiting for me to deny it. I couldn't. My throat was a locked door. I didn't. I tried, but the word cracked in half. Don't, Lena said sharply, then softened. It's fine, Maya. We all make mistakes. Mom's hand came down on my cheek so fast it didn't feel real. The sound landed first, then the sting. Do you know what that family has done for us? She hissed. You humiliated your sister. humiliated her. That was the first lie that stuck. By afternoon, the story had spread through our small town faster than I could breathe. I was the drunk kid who tried to hit on her sister's boyfriend. Someone texted me screenshots of group chats, laughing emojis. My name next to words like sloppy and attention seeking. At school, whispers followed me like perfume. I learned to eat lunch in the library behind a stack of old magazines that still smelled of dust and glue. Ethan and Lena became the golden couple. The older guy who stayed loyal to his girlfriend, even after her crazy little sister tried something. I stopped looking at mirrors. They made me feel like an unreliable narrator. One night, I overheard them through Lena's door. Laughter. Then Ethan's voice. She still thinks it was an accident. Lena, you're horrible. Ethan, you didn't stop me. Silence. Then both of them laughing, soft and private. I bit my knuckles to keep from screaming. My grades collapsed. Teachers whispered about burnout. Mom suggested church. Dad stopped making eye contact. My phone buzzed constantly until I finally turned it off. That should have been the end of it. It wasn't. A week later, I reactivated my social media to submit an art assignment and froze. There it was, a photo, me in the guest room, eyes closed, hair across my face, half naked. The caption, "Can't handle her liquor." I waited for my mom came home, but when I went to show her, the post was gone. Deleted, like it never existed. "See?" she said. "No proof." You really need to stop dramatizing things. I deleted every account I had that night, erased myself one password at a time. Then I packed a bag and left for a friend's couch across town. I stayed quiet for months. Therapy came later, years later, and after I learned how to breathe again. But silence has an echo. 3 months after the photo, my phone lit up with a text from an unknown sender. It was a single sentence. One that made my blood go cold. You weren't the only one. 7 years. That's how long it took before I could say his name out loud without shaking. Ethan. I was 24 when I thought I was finally done bleeding from that night. Therapy helped. A new city helped. I built routines, safe ones, mornings with coffee and quiet, afternoons at a bookstore job where nobody knew my last name. For a while, I even started to believe I was free. Then Mom called. Her voice was syrupy, sweet in that forced, too bright way she used when something was about to hurt. "Guess who's getting married?" she said. I smiled automatically. That's great, Mom. "Who?" she giggled. "Your sister, of course. Lena's finally settling down. You'll never guess who." When she said his name, the world went soundless. Ethan. I dropped the mug. It shattered. The coffee crawled toward me across the counter like it was alive. I remember her saying, "Don't ruin this for her, Maya." "They're happy, happy." My lungs burned. I hung up and sat on the floor, staring at the pieces of glass until my knees went numb. Part of me thought maybe it was some sick joke. Maybe Mom said the wrong name. But then the notification came. Lena and Ethan forever starts now. Their engagement photo looked like an ad for heartbreak. Lena in white, glowing. Ethan behind her, chin on her shoulder, hand on her stomach like he owned every inch of her. His smile, easy, familiar, predatory. I zoomed in, noticed the ring. My mother's old engagement ring, the one she promised me after the divorce. "It's yours someday," she'd said when I was 13. "For when someone really loves you." Now it was on my sister's hand. The comments made me sick. Couple goals. High school sweethearts to forever. I couldn't breathe. I called Lena, no answer. So I drove back home, the whole time rehearsing what I'd say. When she opened the door, she looked almost relieved to see me. "You look good," she said. "Healthier." "I saw the post," I said. She tilted her head, smiled like I was a child interrupting her. "Oh, that. Why him, Lena? After everything." "Everything what?" She cut in. "You still obsessed with that night?" I stared at her. He hurt me." Her jaw tightened. "He told me you came on to him." That you begged him not to tell me. The air between us cracked. I felt like I was falling but standing still. You're marrying the man who. She rolled her eyes. You need to stop rewriting history, Maya. It's pathetic. I almost slapped her. Almost. But I didn't. I just turned and left. At dinner that night, our family sat around the table like we were all pretending not to hear the bomb ticking. I didn't eat. Ethan sat across from me, eyes kind, gentle, charming. Then under the table, his hand brushed my thigh. I froze. He smiled, never breaking conversation with my father, and that's when I realized he wanted me to see. He wanted me to know he still could. I used to think the worst part of trauma was the memories. It's not. It's the way people look at you after you finally tell the truth. After the dinner, I couldn't sleep. I could still feel his hand on my leg like a stain that wouldn't wash off. I thought about screaming during dessert, about standing up and telling everyone exactly what happened that night. But I didn't, because I saw the way they looked at him. The golden boy, the savior, the man who stuck by Lena through everything. So instead, I planned. For weeks, I pretended to make peace, smiled through teeth that ached from clenching. I told Lena I wanted to rebuild, that maybe I was ready to forgive. She softened, just enough. We met at her apartment. Ethan wasn't home, thank God. I set my phone on the coffee table, recording app running. I let her talk. Let her feel safe. At first, it was harmless. Wedding stress, venue drama, mom being overbearing. Then I asked, do you ever think about that night? Her fingers froze around her wine glass. What night? The one where you let him. Maya, she interrupted sharply. I told you that's not what happened. I leaned forward. He forced himself on me, Lena. You were there. You saw. She laughed. Actually laughed. That's not what he told me. My chest went cold. You think I made it up? I think, she said, eyes glittering. You've always wanted what I had. You just found a convenient story to make yourself the victim. The silence after that felt radioactive. I stood, shaking. You're sick. She smiled. Delete whatever recording you just made, or I'll call the cops and tell them you threatened me. I left before I could cry in front of her. Back home, I replayed the recording. Proof, even if it was twisted. But when I tried to send it to myself, the file was gone. Deleted. Just gone. Later that week, I tried showing my parents. Told them everything, voice trembling, palms sweating. Mom pressed her lips together, eyes glassy. Dad looked at the floor. You need to stop this, he said. You're trying to destroy your sister's happiness. Mom added quietly, you've always been jealous of her. That night, my boyfriend Alex came over. I thought maybe he'd be different. I told him too. He didn't say anything, just stared at his phone. Then he showed me a message from an unknown number, 3 photos. Me, from that night. His voice broke when he said, what is this, Maya? I tried to speak, but nothing came out. He left before I could explain. The next morning, my therapist called. Her tone was tight. Maya, I need to tell you something. Someone tried to access your medical files. My heart stopped. Do you know who? I whispered. There was a pause. Then, the name on the request was Ethan Grant. I told myself I wouldn't go. I promised my therapist, swore to my reflection, even wrote it down. You owe them nothing. But then Mom called, crying. Please, Maya. It's family. You'll regret it if you don't come. Regret. As if that wasn't already the foundation of my life. So I went. The venue was a converted barn wrapped in fairy lights and cheap promises. The air smelled like champagne and lies. Lena looked ethereal. Or maybe I was just seeing through tears. Ethan wore a tailored suit and the same smug calm I remembered from that night. When our eyes met, I felt my stomach twist into something sharp. He smiled like I was part of some private joke only he understood. I sat in the back, quiet, invisible. Or so I hoped. The ceremony blurred by in slow motion. Vows, applause, the kiss, everyone crying for the wrong reasons. I counted my breaths and planned my exit. But when the speeches started, I froze. Ethan took the microphone, arm around Lena. You know, he said, laughing, I almost didn't date her at first. People chuckled. She had this very protective little sister who used to follow us around. He winked at the crowd. I think she might have had a crush on me. Laughter. Real, genuine laughter. My vision tunneled. The room warped, voices echoing like underwater screams. I stood up, chair scraping the floor. Heads turned. My mother's hand shot up, motioning for me to sit. I didn't. I left. Outside, the air was cold enough to bite. I stumbled toward the bar behind the venue and ordered the strongest thing they had. My hands shook so badly I almost spilled it. That's when someone slid onto the stool beside me. Rough night? A woman's voice said. I didn't look up. You could say that. She ordered water. When the bartender walked away, she leaned closer. You're Maya, right? My stomach dropped. Do I know you? She shook her head. Not yet. Then she pulled a napkin from her clutch and placed it between us. In neat handwriting, 2 words. You're not alone. I stared at it, pulse hammering. What is this? She didn't answer, just turned her wrist toward me. Faint bruises ringed her skin, shaped like fingers. My breath caught. The pattern was the same way Ethan had held me down that night. She whispered, he did it to me, too. The music from inside bled into the night, some love song that made the world feel sickly sweet. I felt dizzy. What's your name? I asked. She looked back toward the glowing barn. Claire. Before I could say another word, she pressed the napkin into my hand. If you want the truth, she said softly, meet me tomorrow. Noon, the cafe by the bridge. Then she disappeared into the dark, leaving the scent of fear and perfume behind. I unfolded the napkin one more time. Under. You're not alone, new words had appeared, faint, smudged ink. He records everything. I barely slept that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her wrist. Those perfect rings of bruises like fingerprints burned into her skin. Morning came gray and swollen with fog. I almost didn't go. Half of me thought it was a trap. The other half wanted it to be, just so I could stop wondering. The cafe by the bridge was half empty. I spotted Claire instantly. Dark hair and a messy bun, sunglasses even though there was no sun. When she saw me, she smiled like she'd been waiting years. You came, she said. I shouldn't have, I replied, sitting anyway. For a minute, neither of us spoke. Then she slid her phone across the table. The screen showed a photo, me years ago at that same party. Drunk, laughing. Ethan's arm around me, my stomach lurched. Where did you get that? He sent it to me once, she said quietly. Said you were practice. My throat tightened. Practice for what? Claire met my eyes. For control. She unlocked a folder on her phone. Dozens of pictures. Different women. Same pattern. Always Ethan in the frame somewhere, sometimes a reflection in a mirror, sometimes a hand, sometimes just the angle that told you someone else was holding the camera. He's been doing this for years, Claire whispered. Before Lena. Before you, I scrolled until my vision blurred. Names, faces, dates, the same necklace, the same drink, the same twisted smile. How did you find them? I asked. Because I thought I was crazy too, she said. Until I found her. She nodded toward the door. A woman walked in, pale, nervous, mid-30s maybe. She sat down without a word. This is Erin, Claire said. She was one of Lena's bridesmaids. I stared. You're kidding, Erin shook her head. I thought he loved me once. Until I saw what he kept. What he kept. Claire leaned closer. He records everything, Maya. Every assault, every humiliation. He keeps them like trophies. The cafe felt suddenly too small. I wanted to scream, but couldn't find my voice. Why are you telling me this? I managed. Because you're the only one he couldn't fully break, Claire said. You fought back. You survived. Aaron slid a flash drive across the table. We found this in his old laptop. It's encrypted, but one of the files had your name. I stared at the little piece of metal like it was a live grenade. You opened it? Claire nodded. Her expression shifted. Fear, disgust, something else. We opened all of them. She reached into her bag and pulled out a folded sheet of paper, laid it on the table. It was a still image printed from one of the videos. I didn't want to look, but I did. Lena, my sister, her face, her clothes, the same bedroom I remembered, the same man behind her. The air left my lungs. No, I whispered. Claire's voice was barely a breath. He did it to her too. I drove straight to Lena's house. No plan, no warning. Just that flash drive burning a hole in my pocket like it wanted out. She answered in a robe, hair wet, eyes swollen. For a second, she looked almost human again. Not the ice queen who'd chosen him over me. What do you want, Maya? She sighed. Answers. I shoved the flash drive onto the counter. He did it to you, didn't he? Her expression flickered, confusion, then something raw and ugly underneath. What is that? Proof, I said. He recorded everything. Every girl. Including you. She froze, knuckles whitening around her coffee mug. You're lying. Am I? I unlocked my phone, showed her the still image. Her face, the same bedspread. Ethan's arm. Her mug hit the tile and shattered. For a moment, I thought she might deny it again. But then she sank to the floor, head in her hands, sobbing in a way I hadn't heard since we were kids, and she broke Mom's vase. He said he'd kill me if I told anyone, she whispered. He said he'd leak the video and ruin everything. I knelt beside her, heart breaking and burning at the same time. You knew what he did to me. She looked up, mascara streaked down her cheeks. I tried to stop him. He said you wanted it. I didn't know what to believe. Then he started hurting me too. My mind spun. How long? Years, she said. He'd tell me I was lucky he still wanted me. That if I left, no one would ever believe me. I wanted to hate her. I really did. But the thing about surviving the same monster is that you recognize the same scars, even when they're wrapped in denial. We can end this, I said. Claire, Aaron, and the others, they're ready to go public. We post everything. Every file. Lena's eyes went wide. He'll come for us. Let him. For once, she didn't argue. That night, we sat in Claire's apartment, laptop open, fingers shaking. The videos uploaded to the cloud like ghosts escaping their coffins. By morning, they were everywhere. News feeds, forums, the dark corners of the internet Ethan used to hide in. His name was trending. Ethan Grant exposed. For the first time, I breathed without choking on guilt. Then, chaos. His family denied everything. Lawyers threatened. My father went online, defending Ethan. Misunderstood young man, he called him. Mom begged us to take it all down. Lena refused. 3 days later, the police called. They'd found Ethan's car abandoned by a bridge an hour outside town. The door left open, keys still inside. But the strangest part, the phone on the passenger seat was recording. An endless clip of rushing water and static. No body, no footprints, just that low, steady sound, like someone whispering beneath the current. I played the audio when the detective left, and somewhere in the noise, I swear I heard him say my name. People think justice feels like peace. It doesn't. It feels like waiting for the next explosion. After the videos went public, the world tilted. Overnight, Ethan Grant became a headline, a hashtag, a monster that everyone suddenly pretended they could see. Predator exposed. Local man vanishes after scandal. Every feed, every talk show, every thread dissecting his crimes like true crime entertainment. They called us survivors. But it didn't feel like surviving. It felt like drowning slower. Claire and Aaron hid their faces, terrified of the wrong kind of fame. Lena and I moved into Mom's house mostly because we had nowhere else to go. Dad refused to speak to either of us. He'd posted some angry Facebook essay about false accusations ruining good men. He got fired 2 days later. Mom blamed me for that too. "You could have just stayed quiet," she said once while washing dishes. "You could have let it go." Let it go. As if silence had ever saved me. Lena barely left her room. Sometimes I'd hear her crying, sometimes laughing too loudly at nothing. The line between guilt and grief blurred until I couldn't tell which one of us was breaking faster. Then the news came. A fisherman found a shoe near the riverbank. Size 10. The same make Ethan always wore. Police confirmed they'd also found traces of blood on the driver's seat of his car, but no body. For days, people lit candles on the bridge. Called it a tragedy. Called him a lost soul. Claire sent me a text that night. "Don't believe it. He's not dead." I wanted to argue, but something deep in my gut agreed with her. A week later, Lena tried to kill herself. Pills and vodka. Mom found her just in time. I sat in the hospital waiting room, staring at the same white walls I'd seen 100 times before, thinking maybe this family was cursed long before Ethan ever showed up. When she woke up, she wouldn't look at me. She just whispered, "He won't stop." "Who?" I asked, but she wouldn't answer. 2 nights later, my phone pinged with an unknown number. No text, just an email notification. The subject line made my blood freeze. "Miss me, baby girl?" I opened it. The email was blank, except for one attachment. An audio file. I hesitated, then hit play. Static. The same low hum I'd heard from the police recording of the bridge. And then, breathing. Male, calm, close to the mic. "Did you really think I'd make it that easy?" The voice chuckled. Then came a sound. Water sloshing, footsteps, a car door closing. The file ended there. I stared at the screen, hands shaking. The timestamp read yesterday. He was still alive, and he knew where to find me. I used to think if I told my story, I'd finally feel safe. But the truth is, telling it just made the silence louder. I still check my locks 3 times before bed. I still see his face when I close my eyes. And sometimes, when my phone buzzes in the middle of the night, I still half expect to see his name on the screen. Maybe he's really gone. Maybe he isn't. But I've learned that monsters don't always need to be alive to keep haunting you. If you were me, would you want closure? Would you keep digging for the truth? Or would you try to move on and pretend he never existed? Tell me what you'd do in the comments, because I honestly don't know anymore. Thank you for listening. Stay until the end for the song. It's the only way I could say the things I never got to tell him.
Mama said, "Smile, baby, don't make a scene." Sister wore white, looking squeaky clean. He shook my hand with that Sunday grin, the same one I saw that night in sin. I kept my mouth shut, I played my part, but secrets weigh heavy on a broken heart. They called me bitter, said I lied while I watched their love become a bride. I'm the girl nobody believed, the shadow they chose not to see. Scream my truth into the dark, but they turned off the light on me. Now the world calls me crazy while he walks free. Yeah, I'm the girl nobody believed. Years roll by, I found my peace. Therapy and midnight dreams. Then I saw her post that diamond ring, and I felt my knees go weak. Mama said, "Forgive and pray," but grace don't wash that kind of pain away. He raised his glass, called me a crush, and the room broke out in drunk applause. I'm the girl nobody me the truth. Maybe they'll hear my voice in some old song and realize I was right all along. I'm the girl who finally believes in the fire that burned through me. I ain't a victim, I'm a memory. He can't rewrite or deceive. Now the truth's out, the pain's relieved. No longer the girl, but he be believed. To be a child is not to see it. God's ways are dark, but they turn dark as a fiddle. So if you see a girl standing tall, eyes tired but proud through it all, don't doubt her story, don't look away. She might be me.